Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Deeds on My Tube video. Today we're going to talk about, and the model playing discussions. Today we're going to talk about Dark Knights parts 3 and 4. So the episode starts, we see the ponies are trapped by the Sunny Valiants, or the Gray Valiants, as they're called right now. And Nightshade mom decides to come in and stop them. Of course, and she finally gets him to stop, but she does have to scold him a little bit because he did kind of slip on himself. So the next thing that we see is when they're going to confront Aramis and Zeb with the satchel. And, and I gotta tell you, this is one of my favorite villain songs, along with another villain song coming up um, in a later in a later generation. So this is probably it's called nothing. Is probably what was one of my favorite songs back in the day, before G4 came out, and they were singing, they're singing "The London Quite Like Shadows," and so Aramis and Zeb go outside and tell Nightshade, "Thank you for giving us more sounds." Obviously, we know that he isn't giving them more shadows because he doesn't want to anymore. And so, uh, chase ensues with Hermes and Zeb chasing after him. Obviously, as this is happening, Hermes starts getting smaller and running out of breath. There's a part where the bushes. There's a part where it's kind of this is a scene that's kind of like the Scooby Doo idea, but it's not much of a reference to it. Anyway, there's a part where they're, like, have you seen Air? As Heartthrob, they see if he sees Erebus. He's like, see, I haven't seen him. It's him. And so they finally get away from him, and they meet up in a cave and discuss what they're going to do. So what they decide to do is to get help from other places. Molly is sent off to get help from somewhere else, while they go off to, you know, Sunnyvale to try to tell everybody there that they need help to stop Arabins. Meanwhile, Molly is, it's Molly and Lofty, by the way, is trying to get away. Obviously, she's flying too high because, see, it's pretty difficult for her not to do that. And then, as soon as they fly lower, they're captured, and Molly gets this old kind of look in the face. This is part 3. Part 4 is probably is we continue from where we left off in part 3, where Molly and Lofty are both, you know, trying to get away from the rats and Mr. Zeb. Wait, no, it's just the rats. Eventually, get away from them. Meanwhile, Megan, Nightshade, and the rest of them go to Sunnyvale. Oh, by the way, they also capture Galaxy's channel in part 3. Anyway, we return to Megan and the others who are trying to convince the Sunnyvalians to help them out. Obviously, they don't trust them because obviously they can't. I mean, he did take the saddles away. So they're on their own. For now, anyway. So they go back to Erebus and Zeb and he tells Nightshade that if he apologizes and tells them and comes back, he may forgive him. Obviously, they don't. He doesn't want to, and he tells him, "Well, I'm the one that made you famous." And they keep fighting over the satchel. There's a scene, and by the way, there's also a scene in part three where they're looking for the satchel. That's why they're running around in the place. As the and eventually they take somehow they take Nightshade and his mom's saddle, and they try taking everybody else's saddles, but then they hear a noise. It's the flood police, and they're there to defeat Erebus once and for all. And they say, "We are the flood police," and they basically wear him out, turn him into a small little cloud. They also take care of the rats and and other and Zeb, and the cells are returned. And I mean, and also the Sunny Berries decide that they're going to help out, and they when they come back, all the cells are back, and they decide that it's hey, they did tell him they did cheer for him, and he tells him, "I don't deserve this because and baby Hawthorne says that he's the famous hero ever. And the episode ends with them singing "Wah Ponies." Pretty good song. All right, next time we're going to talk about one of my personal favorite episodes, which is the one of the shortest, but one I love one of the standalone episodes, "Sweet Stuff and the Treasure Hunt." I'll see you guys next time. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I'll see you guys on the next video.